What's up, fight fans? Thank you once again for coming through. Much appreciated. Remember, hit that subscribe button if you're new to the channel. If you're not new, and you've come back to watch another video again, always repeat it, but thank you very much. All right, so after that great performance from Billy Joe Saunders, what's next for Billy Joe Saunders? I think what Frank Warren needs to do is work on. Look, you don't want to change someone's personality. They are who they are. But just small, minor skills in terms of your PR skills. Just very, very small, minor skills. Because what we do have right now, we have an undefeated world champion that, when you look at the division, could do some good things. Could have some big fights. There's some fantastic names in the middleweight division right now. We all mentioned the big 3 or 4, which is obviously Jacobs, GGG, and Canelo. Obviously now Billy Joe Saunders, but there are others as well. Charlo's up there now. Demetrius Andrade's gone up there. There are talks about Lara going up to 160 as well. So there are about 7 or 8 guys, which means there are 7 or 8 big fights, which means there are 7 or 8 big paydays. Potentially. But what we need to do, and what Frank Warren needs to do, is sell this guy, right? No one knows the story. In terms of casual fans, and I mean, and I hate using that word, casual fans, but what I mean, the guys that just tune in for the big fights, maybe the Joshua fights, or back in the day, the Lewis, or Nassim Hamed, or Eubank, those kind of guys. It's making them know there is a kid out here called Billy Joe Saunders who was a great amateur, who is unbeaten, who has a fantastic backstory, and who's a world champion. And sometimes you feel like that's the one criticism I have of Frank Warren that I really don't necessarily have of Eddie Hearn. Eddie Hearn will make the shittest world champion seem unstoppable. And sometimes I do believe that the Frank Warren fighters, when you think of Flanagan being in there as well, they don't necessarily get the promotion they need outside of the casual, outside of the hardcore boxing fans. He needs to really tap into the casual fan market and really sell who Billy Joe Saunders is. I mean, like the way Eddie Hearn's fighters and Matchroom fighters go on Sky Sports and Sky Sports News a lot and do all that stuff. Billy Joe Saunders and a lot of the Box Nation fighters need to go on BT Sports. They need to be pumped. They really do need to be pushed. Because I think potentially his next fight could be a big one. He could have a voluntary first, and then it's going to be a big one next. And I feel like it needs to be away from the copper box. We need to be in O2 Arena now. We need to be in Wembley Arena selling it out. We need to be MEN Arena in Manchester. We need to do something to push him. Because I feel like we have a star here. His interviews for me are fantastic. I love him. I think he's a fantastic character. I just think he needs to be almost refined a little bit and then just push him out there to everyone. Everyone in the sports world should know who Billy Joe Saunders is right now. And they simply don't. And after a performance like that against David Lemieux, we have a very good boxer on our hands. And it's just a case of Frank Warren starting to promote these guys a bit more. Because right now, they only get promotion in the lead up to a fight, and that's just simply not enough. They need to be out there doing things. You look at Anthony Joshua, for example. Anthony Joshua does so much stuff. So much random stuff. He goes to Wimbledon. This is going to sound a bit crazy, but he goes to Wimbledon and plays, you know, and then he goes and plays tennis with Andy Murray and does doubles. He goes on TV shows, the Graham Nortons. And Tony Bellew does exactly the same thing. I've seen Tony Bellew on TV shows. You've seen Tony Bellew on like Soccer AM and Soccer PM as well now. Tyson Fury's on Soccer AM. They're out there. They're getting out there. They're stepping away just from their boxing and doing a bit more stuff. And I feel that's what Billy Joe Saunders needs to do prior to his next fight. Name I'd like to see him take on someone like maybe a Curtis Stevens. Someone with a bit of name power, definitely beatable, does punch a bit still, but someone like Billy Joe Saunders will easily outbox someone like that. And then after that, then it's a case of, look, roll your dice and take on any of the big boys. They're all tough, they can all box, they can all punch it. None of them is going to be easy, but let's make a star out of Billy Joe Saunders. Let's push him a bit. He needs to push himself, but let's also try and push him a bit. And this is the Frank Warren. Let's get him. I don't know who his manager is or his promoter is, or if he has a media trainer or whatever he does. But he needs to be on TV shows. He needs to be talking. He needs to get out there a bit more. So the British public can know who he is. So next time he is fighting against one of these big boys, preferably in the UK, he gets some support behind him and not just a half-filled copper box arena.